Welcome back to another edition of Baldwin and Creech, Gentlemen of Style. I'm Baldwin.
And I'm Creech. And today what we want to talk about is the etiquette of having drinks in a business professional atmosphere.
Exactly. Because there are certain situations in a business professional atmosphere where you need to conduct yourself very tactfully and keep yourself in check. You don't want to get out of hand, and you don't want to overstep the boundaries and become a lush in that type of environment. That will look very bad for your situation.
Yeah, and one of the major things about that is you really need to know what the event is. You need to make sure that you know who's going to be attending that event. If you're going to a business meeting and your bosses or your managers or the powers that be are going to be there, it's very important for you to be able to conduct yourself in the manner that doesn't embarrass your company, doesn't embarrass your superiors, and that you're engaging enough, that you're having a good time, and that you're interacting the way that you should be.
And one of the key things that you want to do is you want to limit yourself. Okay, let's take it back for a second. I digress. If you're not a drinker, don't drink. Period.
At all. That's not the time to try it out. That's not the time to see what your tolerance is. That's not the time. Respectfully decline and say, I don't drink, and most people will respect you for that.
And even if you don't drink, you don't even have to really decline. You can get something else there to drink. You can get a virgin daiquiri or whatever is there, a virgin drink, or something. Most places have that and they respect that. You can get a mixed like fruit drink or something like that in a type of glass. It looks just like a drink. Go ahead.
It's true. Well, let me interject. What if the boss orders drinks for everyone?
Don't drink it. Just don't drink it.
Well, that's
off to the side. Order your own drink and have your own drink in your hand. You can have both of them in your hand. Just drink yours. Don't drink theirs.
Oh, I was just going to say that. And even at that point, that's when you do tell them that you don't drink. So,
you don't even have. I mean, yeah, you can do that.
I say do that.
You definitely do that. I've been in these situations, and you can go either way.
Well, the only reason why I say that is because you don't want boss basically wasting money on you for drinks that you're not.
That is true.
That you're not actually.
That is true. That is true.
I mean, I think most bosses,
they'll respect.
They're going to respect the fact that you don't drink. So let them know up front. They don't want you to be shady and be that person that claims you drinking or acts like you're drinking.
Or prior to that event, you can take them to the side. Like, I know we're going out and everything, and I really don't drink. And so if you order drinks for us, can you order me something different? Like a fruit punch or a pineapple mixed with cranberry or something like that. Right. It looks like a drink. So I want to be there, but that's just something I don't partake in. And they 9 times out of 10 they're going to respect that. So.
Oh yeah, and that's the great part. I like your suggestion because you tell them up front, and it's a respectful thing. I think most people are going to respect your decision not to drink because it's not something that everybody does, and it's not something that everybody has to do. So don't think that this particular show is about making you drink or you should drink. It's about if you are a drinker, how to conduct yourself in certain atmospheres or certain business environments so that you can conduct yourself and make sure you get that promotion, make sure you become that director, make sure you become whatever it is that you're looking to do in your career. Make sure you get where you're going.
Now, if you are a drinker, now this is a suggestion from me. Do not outpace your opponent.
Your opponent would be your manager, your boss,
and any of the people that are around you that are in that group.
Yeah.
Don't do it. Don't try to be the big baller shot caller. You're gonna be able to drink the whale up and buy the bar out and all this and that. Don't do that. It's a bad look. Okay. Underpace yourself. Underpace yourself whenever you're dealing with that type of crowd. Now, again, too. If you're with a crowd and they're getting wild and they're having such a good time and everything like that, be very cautious of that situation as well. I don't know how close you may be with this particular group. especially when you're in this setting or that setting, and you're dealing with clients in and out. You don't have the longevity to understand their experiences in this, so you may not operate at their level. So understand, underpace yourself in these situations. Know your own limitations. That's the main key. Know your own limitations where you can maintain your own self-control. You don't want to get in a bad situation where you're going to be, out of control.
Yeah, that's the big thing. Have self-control. When you're out with your friends, you're out with your people, your boys, your girls, your family, whoever that may be, there's a certain way that you can act. There's a certain way that you can get down, so to speak. And that's great. But when you're talking about your job and how you get your money, it's important to understand this is not the same atmosphere as it is when you're with your friends or in that real social setting. This is an opportunity for you to really, almost put yourself in a position to make the next move that you want to make if you're trying to make moves in your company. And to do that, it really takes a tactical and a very strategic mindset when you're going into these. It's great, and here's the key too. Don't if it's a social, if it's a business social thing where we're not talking business, don't try to talk to your bosses or your managers. Don't try to talk to them about business while they're drinking. They are not going to like it. They don't want to talk about business. They're cutting loose and having a good time. Leave that alone. Let that be another conversation for another time, because at that point you become the person that's bothering them, whether you drink or don't drink. Let your business be what it's going to be. If this is a business meeting and there happens to be drinks, that is the great time to talk business, because that's what it's for.
Yeah. So you're saying if that comes up, okay, talk about it. But if it doesn't come up, don't bring it up.
Right.
Is that what you're saying?
If there's a situation where you've had a great idea or you see something at work that needs to be changed, but you're in an environment where the boss or the managers or the company, the owner or whoever decides, hey, we've had a great quarter, let's get together, we're going to eat, we're going to drink, we're going to dance, we're going to have a great time. That is not the time to go to your boss and say, well, I've seen a lot of things that we could change, that could streamline. Your boss is not going to want to hear that.
Yeah, you have to you have to gauge it to the conversation,
right?
To what's actually going on
now.
Because
I'll stop you right here, because I know you asked me this question. But I just want to stop you and then you can get back. But when I say that, if your boss brings that up to you and engages you in that way, then the door, the gates and the door is open. Then you can speak that. You can speak that truth.
Right.
But don't. That's the point.
That's the point I was going to.
Yeah. Don't be the one to initiate. I guess that's the best way I want to put it.
Yeah. Because it depends. I mean, if you're highly skilled in that manner and this was your intent, then I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Your setup or your plan or action, and why you're in that type of situation. That's something else. I'll leave that to you. But like Terrence was just saying, if you're in a casual situation like that, and it's an outing after work or something, where you were invited, this is not a situation where you will go in and you're going to be discussing things that are intricate like that. Because when you're under the influence of alcohol, things can get mistaken, or they may not be heard in the right way.
And you may not even articulate yourself.
You may not even articulate it in the right way. So I mean, I'll leave that up to you guys on how you want to handle that, but this is just our suggestion to you. Hey, let the outing be what it is, and you can get back to the business part of it later. You can use that. You can use the outing as a building block as far as from a camaraderie standpoint, which will put you into the position to talk about those things, business related, and your ideals that you have later on.
Yeah, because that's a great time to, in that particular instance, that's a great time to tell your manager, your boss, hey, I've been meaning, to talk to you about something. Put me on your calendar sometime this week. Those things are greatly acceptable. But you just don't want to get too in depth on things business when you're in a social environment. Now, when we switch over to a business meeting, that's something totally different. It's like us sitting here having, if we were having a business meeting, at a cigar bar, and we decide to have a drink, but we're really talking about true business, that happens all the time. All the time. So there's a difference between a social setting with your business colleagues and then a actual business setting in a business meeting.
Right, right. Now, I would be remiss if I didn't say that there are levels to what we talk about.
Many.
Now, huh?
Many.
Yeah, there are many levels to what we're talking about. So, and what I mean by that is this. I know there are times when you're out on the golf course, there's a lot of business that gets conducted out on the golf course / clubhouse or what have you, and you're getting caddied around and all that. There's drinking and what have you going on, doing those type of situations and everything. And there's levels. There's levels for that. I'm talking. We're speaking more from the neophyte or the novice that doesn't really understand. And even if you are someone that's been indulging for a little while, you may still be a novice and don't understand. So we try to give you our opinions, objectively, so that you'll get some insight on that and the things that we've already seen. This is not something that we're just telling you off the top of our head. We've been in these type of environments and we understand these things and how they work. We've been through more than what you may know on that. So there's levels to it, and once you penetrated the envelope and you're in there to a degree, you'll figure it out and you'll be able to branch out and you'll be able to have these discussions on a higher level. And I'm gonna tell you. No, I'm not even gonna tell you about that. I was gonna tell you about something that I saw the other day as far as the interview, and it involved cannabis and all of that. But it was highly enlightening and everything. It was a very good interview. It was a very good high level conversation and everything. But the person that was having the conversation, one person was like really high. Well, he was rolling blunts and smoking weed and all of that, but the other person wasn't. But they were all in the same room. They were in an enclosed environment, and I'm sure they were getting a contact high off of the person that was smoking. But they were both speaking truth on both sides of it. So there's levels to it. There's levels to it. There's different dimensions to it and everything. I'm not condoning that, but there's different levels to the interaction depending on the genre of the business that you're in. So.
Yeah, the entertainment business is
very different, and it was the entertainment business that happened.
I kind of figured it probably, but the entertainment business is very different from your normal everyday business, of course. But it is starting to bleed into the normal everyday business,
right,
with endorsements and all that stuff. So I'm not going to get into all of that intricate stuff. But our main focus on this particular episode was to give you an idea and something to think about when it comes to. If you're in a position in business and you're looking to move up, you're looking to ascend and move into ranks that where you have control and power and you're able to make true decisions. These things that you're doing at certain levels are very important. And business meetings that happen at dinners, that happen in gentlemen's clubs, and I'm gonna say that, and I'm gonna stay on that for a half a minute. There are big deals that are done in gentlemen clubs. And trust me, don't think it's just, when I say gentlemen clubs, don't think it's just men in those gentlemen clubs doing that type of business. There are women in the field of business that have companies and that are part of companies or whatever that are in those clubs doing business with men because that's where the deal is going to be done. So when I say that, I don't want you to think, it's a boys' club. Men always up in the, the strip club.
Don't be fooled by that.
Right? Yeah, that we're always up in the strip club trying to do business. It's not just us.
It's not.
If you're a business person, you go where the business is because it's all about making sure that you can do the deal on certain instances. So when I say that, I want to, I had to preface that and make sure that you understand. On that particular situation, I'm not just talking about the gentlemen and the men. It's business. And women, just like men, there's an equality and an independence to you ladies out there. If you're doing business and you're doing it at a high level, you're going to go make that deal wherever it is. Now, some people have their own sense of, what they will and what they won't do. And and you applaud them. But when you're talking about business, sometimes it becomes a little bit of that, that you have to try to have that equality or that equilibrium, so to speak. But when you're trying to do a deal and you know that you got to keep your company afloat, or your boss is saying you better make this deal or you go find another job, you have a lot to think about. And so in these clubs, drinking is a big part of it. Doesn't mean you have to go in there and partake in in a way that you lose sight of what you're supposed to be there for. So that's what this episode is really about, trying to get you, to understand and look at what happens, as we sit here. This is a typical setup where business is done, where two people, not two men, two people sit together, have drinks, have conversation, and then the next thing you know, you have major things happening in the world.
Exactly. So don't get misconstrued and don't get misled and don't get peer pressured into something that you do not want to participate in. Don't do it. You have a brighter mind and you have a awareness that of self-preservation that keeps you out of these things. If you think it's the wrong thing to do, you're probably right. Go with your instinct. Go with your gut. Okay? It'll keep you safe. Seriously. Take that to heart.
So having said that, as we sit here and partake of whatever we're deciding to put in our cup at this point in time, and here's the great thing, he made mention to that earlier, there could be actual alcoholic beverages in here, or there could just be plain out tea or soda or whatever we decide to.
I mean, no, who would know?
No one would know. And so, without anybody knowing, we can sit here and have these same conversations and really be able to do the same thing you would, be able to do if you were drinking alcohol.
Let me tell you about a real life experience. I've been to many of social settings and meetings and everything where I didn't have anything to drink, period. I had something to drink, but it was not alcohol. I had a drink, it had some coloration to it, it was in a glass, it wasn't alcohol. Everyone thought I was drinking, but I was not drinking. They felt the same way as if I was drinking. It was transparent. They didn't even know.
And along that line, if you don't have the same, the same confidence or the same level of conversation without drinking, that's a totally different thing that we're not equipped to help you with that per se. I mean, we can have that conversation, but his point is very poignant in the fact that he's able to have a great time or able to mingle or able to do whatever without having an alcoholic drink the same as he would if he had one. So you have to have that ability, especially when you're talking about business, because who knows? Sometimes, you go to a place that is not comfortable for you, and if you're in that place, you don't need to put yourself outside of your comfort zone in terms of drinking. So instead of drinking something that you're not comfortable with, it's easier to order something that you know that you can deal with, whether that be soda, whether that be water, or whether that be, a colored drink, fruit punch, whatever that case may be. You have that opportunity to say, no, that's not for me. And if you don't have to justify it to anybody, it's easy. Walk into a place. This is a nice little tip or a nice little hint for you. If you know that you don't drink or you're not drinking, and there's a function that starts at 7, get there about 6:30, 6:45. Go ahead and order your drink. When they get ready, when they're there or when they start to come in, you've already got your drink. They'll say to you, oh, you already got started. Yep, I'm good. There's no more questions. It's a simple little tip.
And, all the advice that we're giving you right now is something that most people they don't really have that intuition or have that mentorship in order to go there. These are things that are kind of taboo in our regular life that people don't like to talk about, especially in certain environments. And I'm not even going to go there, because that could be too extreme for you guys at the moment. But they're taboo. They're taboo. They don't want to have these discussions. The talk that's really had is, oh, XYZ is doing this, they're doing that, and everything, but they don't give the real knowledge behind that and how to cope with these type of things that happen out there in these environments. Let's focus more on, okay, what do you do and how do I handle myself in these situations, instead of the after effects of the situations. Oh, he or she did that, look at them now, look at what they're doing. Let's get to the problem before it actually happens. So whenever you're going in that direction, I had the mindset and I had the thought, okay, I understand this because this is not something new. I'm aware of what can happen and where I should be. So with that being said, take all this to heart, and take all this to mind, because it'll do you justice moving forward. Because when you're out there, and I'm gonna go to the law on part of this, they don't really care about what the hell you did. All they're looking at and they're concerned about is, okay, you did whatever it is and it was, and now you're in trouble. You don't want to go there. And this goes beyond the business aspect that we started out with. This goes back to your social life, and this is something that's and this is cliche what I'm about to tell you. It's very easy to get into, and it's very hard to get out of. It's dragged out, and it's something you don't really want to deal with. So be mindful, take what we're saying to heart, and be conscious of your movements and what you do. I mean, simple as that.
So, with that being said, I think we're going to wrap it up now. I think we kind of give you a feel of that. I appreciate the person that asked this question. Some people ask, why, are we going to tell who, gives us this feedback? I mean, we would have to go through and list a bunch of people. If you give us questions and give us topics, you know who you are. So, we don't go down and list and say this, that, or the other. Maybe we'll have one day, we got some other stuff planned, so we'll incorporate that into that somehow, probably. But that being said, again, we thank you guys for tuning in. We appreciate all the support. Of course, follow us on our social media, LinkedIn, Instagram.
Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, like, share, subscribe,
Twitter.
Talk to your neighbor. Twitter.
Yeah.
Word of mouth. Put us in the boardroom with you. I mean, whisper in someone's ear. Word of mouth is very powerful. So put us out there. Send us your comments. Link us in. Shout us out on your page. Do all of the above.
So, go and take us out.
Once again, you know how we roll. There's no excuse for good taste. Baldwin and Creech, we believe in better.
That we do.
Have a good one.
Till next time.
Cheers.